Hi, welcome to Bruce's Garage. I'm Bruce, and this is my garage. Today, I'm doing a first. I'm applying Nasiol's 272 infamous coating that's supposed to be super slick, super durable, very high-end coating on this 2023 Ford Bronco. Right now, it's dirty, has not been washed, hasn't been deconned or polished. I'm going to go through all those steps, and then I'm going to take you with me as we install Nasiol 272 on this 2023 Ford Bronco. So come on in and let's have some fun. The vehicle has been completely polished, washed, decontaminated. So we're all set now to do our last step before we apply the coating, and that is panel prep. So remember, panel prep is applied by taking the appropriate spray from the same company that you're using your coating from. So this is Nasiol. They call their product Clean. And again, our goal here is just to remove any remaining contamination from oils, the polishes, and so forth that may still be left on the surface, because we want the surface to be absolutely ready to accept the coating when we apply it. So basically, you just spray your panel prep. In this case, they suggest spraying right on the surface and then just wiping dry with a microfiber towel. So I'm going to do that across all the surfaces. I do plan on coating everything on this vehicle, the plastics, all the exterior plastics, all the paint surfaces, and the wheels. The glass has already been coated with Armor Detail Supply version 2 of their glass coatings. So this is going to be strictly for the paint, exterior plastics, and the wheels. So I'm going to go ahead and do panel prep, come back, and then we will start applying the coating. Okay, we're ready to apply the coating. I will tell you, Nasiol 272, they really do a nice job, Nasiol does, on providing everything you need in the package. So it's a very, very nice presentation, along with all of the things that you need. With the exception of panel prep, you do need to buy that separately. But once you have that, that is it. You've got everything else that you need. I'm going to prime the pad, cap back on, and then I'm going to do a small area here so we can test how long the cure time will be, or the flash time, I should say. So I did just a small area here as a starting point. We'll use the light gray Nasiol towel first, and then the dark gray. And I can see that it's pretty much hazed over. And that's a good sign that it is probably ready to be leveled. I am putting no pressure on this at all. And yes, indeed, it is extremely slick. And this is just the first small section of an application. But everybody I've talked to said you will be amazed at just how slick it is. And yeah, I can tell you it is very slick. I don't know if it's the slickest. Probably it is the top slickest in terms of like there's a few coatings I think that are just as slick, at least my initial first reaction. But man, this is, it's a single layer coating. So I have had some that are really slick, but those require multiple layers, 2 different products. So this being one coating is really nice. It's got really 24-hour cure before the vehicle can be exposed to the elements, and then 48 hours and you can actually wash it. And I don't have a desire to do that, but if you did, you could. So that short time is really nice. And the flash time's pretty short as well. And you do have to make sure, we've got to make sure we don't have high spots because this coating is a pretty hard coating. So it's not going to be too forgiving in terms of if I have high spots. If I don't catch that right away, it will probably need to be sanded or polished. So that's just a point that we need to be aware of. And with a coating like this, you probably can tell really quickly what you've coated and what you haven't because it's going to be super slick. And it does have a pretty short flash time. I will check the temperature and humidity in here shortly. But they estimate in their ideal conditions, it's about a 30-second flash time. And, when I do my first wipe here, again, there's no grab at all. And that's a good sign. I mean, it's ice skating rink, fresh ice, slick. And I'll follow that up with a second towel. All right, I'm going to continue working on the hood. My temperature in here is about 68 degrees, but it's about 68% humidity as well. So this is going to flash pretty quick, I think. Just for reference, when I am doing that first leveling with the first towel, there's really nothing that's visible on the towel at all. There might be some small amount of solvents, but I don't really notice anything. The towel doesn't look wet at all, but it's leveling really nice, very smooth and silky. No pressure here at all, it's just a nice gliding on the surface. It's amazing the difference when I can feel here where I coated, and then over here, just doesn't glide like it does here, effortlessly. Pretty cool. All right, I'm continuing to apply the coating. Completed the hood. And I will tell you that after coating the entire hood, again, this is a pretty hard coating in terms of its thickness. So it's thick. You should apply it thick. And also it dries hard, very quickly. So you've got to make sure that you're not over coating in terms of what you can level at an appropriate time. So my point is, don't be too aggressive in terms of the space that you're going to be applying. I would kind of limit yourself until you truly get a feel for it, because you do not want to have this harden before you can level it. And it is absolutely very slick. beautiful coating. I recently applied Nasiol ZR53. I love that one as well. This feels more slick. This is a 5-year coating as compared to ZR53, which is a 3-year. The only thing I don't like, as you can tell, it's in this fancy bottle, which is great. Packaging, again, is second to none, but you can't see how much you have left in here. And Jeremy from Nasiol, his advice for me was more is more. I'm used to the less is more when it comes to coatings. So I'm always afraid, though, that I'm going to not have coating left for part of the vehicle. So I would love it if there was some visual indicator so I knew exactly how much I had. I think somebody gave me advice a while back, and I've yet to take it because I always forget. Weigh the bottle, and then you'll know how much it weighs full, and then you can weigh it again as you go to get a sense for how much you've used. This goes on the trim really well. It gives it a nice, rich, deep black appearance. This trim's only a year old. Of course, the vehicle's a year old, so it wasn't that it needed to be restored, but we're protecting it. Whenever you're leveling your coating, remember to go and overlap areas because coating will spread to another panel. So you just want to make sure that you, especially with a coating like this, that is going to be less forgiving if you have high spots, meaning you're going to need to polish or sand to get those high spots out. So one of the other observations I have on this Bronco with this coating is I've coated about half of the hardtop roof, and those plastic or fiberglass surfaces really absorb the coating, but it really looks good. Again, just makes it a nice, rich, dark black. As you move from panel to panel, you can, use another section of your towels so that you're not, if you do have any of coating that's left on there that hardens, it won't affect the surfaces that you're coating now. This is just amazing, though, how slick it is. It's my favorite part of coatings is putting them on and just feeling absolutely how slick the surface is. Just a really cool experience. Again, I'm still doing a fairly small area. I did a little bit more on the roof at one time. Okay, well, this 2023 Ford Bronco is done. I've done a complete wash, decon, polish, ceramic with Nasiol 272, ceramic on the windows with Armor Detail Supply version 2, glass coating, complete interior detail. It is ready to turn over to the owner, and I'll show you some of those after pics here while I give you some final thoughts and tips around using Nasiol 272. So some facts I didn't know about Nasiol were: one, they've been making coatings since 2005, and they're from a company called Arteka, and it is a Turkish company. And the only thing they do is they really focus on nano coatings. And they focus on this from all different kind of industries, not just automotive, but household and many others, industrial. So they know coatings. And indeed, they do know coatings, because this coating is really pretty top tier in my mind. It is very slick, decent gloss, very thick. And so to that point, it's also not super forgiving, meaning that if you have a high spot, if you fail to level appropriately, you're going to have a hard time getting it leveled without probably repolishing or potentially even wet sanding. So you need to be very thoughtful about your approach to applying it. Just means don't get crazy and go fast. Don't get crazy and go in big areas. Because, as I got kind of used to the 30-second or so flash time, so it's pretty short, I started to go in some bigger areas, and then I realized that, I was able to level it, but it was starting to get to the point where I had to work a little bit harder to level it. So I needed to keep it a little bit more narrow in terms of the areas that I coated. Let me check my notes, because I did make a few other notes that I wanted to tell you about. Yeah, so one thing that they really reference is that it's up to 5 years. But they specifically state this coating with durability up to 5 years is with, quote, no maintenance. So I've never seen that from a coating before. So I don't think they're suggesting that. I certainly wouldn't suggest that either. But their point is you can get some pretty good durability without regular maintenance. So I think that's really important. Cure time, you're looking at 24 hours before it can be exposed to the elements, only 48 hours before you can wash. It made the trim and the hard top on this Bronco look outstanding. Even though they weren't in bad shape, it enriched the black color even more. You can purchase Nasiol products direct from them. You can purchase them at the House of Rags. You can purchase them on Amazon and at Car Supply's warehouse. And so you can use coupon code Bruce's Garage to save. So I hope that this has helped you understand a little bit about Nasiol, a little bit about Nasiol 272, tips to make your installation effective, and you learn maybe just some general tips about coatings. I want to thank Jeremy at Nasiol for providing me this coating so that I could use it and I could give you all a video. He hasn't seen this video. There was no obligation to do a video or say anything particular. My opinions are mine. If you ever have a question about that, check out my ethics page at bruces-garage.com. I am very specific about my disclosures, my expectations with vendors, and of course, what I think I'm doing is representing what I believe are your expectations for me as someone who's doing products and education online. I want you to know my integrity is paramount to me, and hopefully you value that. Appreciate a like and subscribe. Just remember, go out and have fun in your garage detailing. Have a great day.